You need something nice and warm on a day like this. Got it for you right here.
Yes.
And you need to be healthy about it. All right, it's 8:18. Eating healthy can create a preventative life for everyone in your family, according to our next guest. And it's very easy once you know the right choices to make.
Absolutely. Me, Tracy McCormick from PrincessKnowItAll.com is here with some new ideas. We're doing miso soup, and I said this is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's one of mine too. And the benefit, excuse me, of miso is what it does for our body. And
Really?
so, yeah. So when I first started learning to cook this way and cook whole foods, miso was really intimidating. I thought I could only get it in a Japanese restaurant, and I had no idea why it was so good for me.
Right.
And so the quick benefits I'll run by are that it works as a probiotic in our intestines.
Okay.
And the miso is fermented soy, and it balances out the bad bacteria in our intestines. And then the seaweed, which is in it, adds minerals to our body, and it has more minerals in it than almost any other vegetable on the planet.
Okay.
Really?
Now, it has all these good things. People go, well, what about the taste if you've never had miso soup?
Miso it doesn't taste beachy at all, because people say I don't eat beach food.
Right, right.
It's not a
That's
beach
right.
food at all. And so what it tastes like is, I have a trick. I have a kid trick that I'm going to show you.
All right.
But it tastes sort of sweet and yummy and almost like a chicken soup without the chicken.
Well, let's try it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's put it together.
So let's
shall
put it
we?
together. It's really fast, and it's really easy, and it's inexpensive.
Excellent.
And your ingredients go a really long way.
Okay, that's
So
good
what
to
I
know.
start with, I'm going to show you, is first you're going to hydrate your seaweed.
Okay.
And the part of Princess Know-It-All is that it's really what I don't know. And so every time I think I know it, I find out I don't, and then an opportunity sets up to learn it. So first you take just a pinch of seaweed,
Okay.
and you put it in the water, and that's what it means to hydrate.
Oh, okay.
And I had no idea what they said, oh, you're going to hydrate something. And this seaweed goes a really long way, and if you can see it, it's tiny. And this
Okay.
bag
Yeah,
of
just slide it
seaweed,
around there where we can see. There
Okay,
you
so
go.
this is what it looks
You
like.
put it in tiny bits.
in a
Little
tiny bit.
and you can
Yep.
see it floating down to the bottom. So it's going to sink. How long do you have to let this saturate?
It takes about 5 minutes.
Okay.
But I've
5
already
minutes.
got some.
But look what happens when you do
It's like those magic things that used to
Yes.
puff up when you were little. You'd put them in and it became a towel. Look
Sure.
how big that becomes at the
Yeah.
end.
And that's how you
great.
get your kids involved to eat this way, is you let them do that.
Oh,
And then you tell them, look at
cute.
how great this is.
It's like
And
a science project.
it's a science project. And you know what?
Oh,
Cooking
that's
should be a
cool.
science project.
Well, why not?
right?
Yes.
That's very cool.
And then you
Alright.
tell them what it does. So then we're going to keep the water because the water has the minerals.
Okay.
And then we're going to add the water.
That looks
And
really
the
good.
seaweed.
Okay.
And now I've got green onions that I've already chopped.
Okay.
And the benefit of green onions is not just flavor. They're also high in vitamin C, B6, and potassium.
You don't think about that. I
No.
don't get past the flavor.
No.
I'm sorry.
So
You know,
green onions, I'm going to cook our green onions. You can eat them last and put them raw. But I cook them
crunchy on the
Yeah,
top.
because it softens it for the kids.
Well, it spreads out the flavor, too, a little bit.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then we have shiitake mushrooms. Now, shiitakes are amazing because they are a blood detoxifier. And so when we're trying to fight flus and colds, we want to eat things that clean our blood.
Okay.
And so we're going to add our shiitake, and they also help with weight loss.
How
Oh.
often do you make this?
Every
at home?
morning.
You make it every morning?
Every morning.
Oh,
You
seriously?
eat it in the morning because that's when you have nothing in your intestines. So it goes in and then it
Absorbs.
balances the good bacteria.
Oh,
I
that's
gotcha.
smart.
And
This
yeah,
is so
and then
smart.
this is daikon. I brought the daikon to show you because I didn't know what it was.
I thought it was bok choy when I
I've
saw
never
I
this.
love
bought
bok choy.
anything.
Yeah, but it's daikon, and daikon is a radish, and it's a really mild flavored radish, and it also works as a detoxifier.
Okay.
And what I do is I scrub my daikon, and I leave everything on it because if you buy it and it's clean, and then you clean it, then you're getting all of the minerals and all of the vitamins.
That
So
are
we
so
want to
nice.
absorb everything in its whole food form.
Now,
Gotcha.
where do you get this? Can
You
get that
can
at
get
Whole Foods?
this at Whole Foods. You can get it at Kroger's. You can get it
Oh,
at
really? Okay.
K&S Market, which is really inexpensive there.
Nice.
And
Okay.
it's probably about 79 cents for a big one.
So how much of that are you putting in?
So we just chopped, we'll chop just,
Just one
like
little
a
section?
little quarter,
Okay.
not even a quarter of a quarter of a quarter.
Okay,
Doesn't
like
take
that.
much.
Like that,
in other
about
words.
that much.
That's
it doesn't take
perfect.
much.
Oh, look, that's
Just
not
a
much
small
at all.
slice?
Yeah,
That's
a
all you
little
need?
bitty. Okay.
That's it.
And then you just kind of dice it up.
You dice it up.
Hopefully I can do this without
Once you
cutting
put
a
all
finger.
this together, how long do you let this simmer and become...
It cooks in about 5 minutes.
And that's it?
And that's it. So it's a
Really?
really fast thing to do. You can add tofu to it.
See, that's what I'm used to.
But
is
if
the
you
tofu.
add tofu, you just take it out of the container, chop it up, and put it in and cook it a little longer.
Me, if you would, tell us about PrincessKnowItAll.com.
Okay,
What's
Princess
the website
Know It All
all about?
is about every time I learn it, every time I think I know it, I find out that I don't. And then an opportunity comes for me to learn something. And it's really about getting out of my own way and realizing that my nobility is in the choices that I make. And the choices are, what do I buy? What do I consume? What do I wear? What do I put on my skin?
So you
What
share
do
with
I
everybody?
eat?
Is it
Everyone.
interactive? Can
It's
people do-
interactive.
Okay.
It's I have a Dear Princess Know-It-All column, and my husband and I own a place called The Ranch out in Hickman County.
There we go.
And I really learned that people that were going through addiction recovery, that we're all sort of going through some sort of battle with our choices.
Yeah.
And so this is really empowering. And a year ago, I wasn't well digestively, and I decided to help my body by making big choices, and I was super intimidated, but I did it.
That's the key. You're making choices in what you eat, and you're changing what you eat instead of automatically going to the doctor and saying, I need something to take care of what my pain is.
We have to empower ourselves. Our kids have colds and flus like crazy. What can I do to get them involved and support their bodies?
Right.
And that's where, that's again where the nobility is in our ability to empower ourselves via our choices.
I like
Oh,
that.
you just mentioned the kids. You said you had a kid secret?
Okay, here's my kid secret, guys. I took organic frozen vegetables and I add them to this, and it turns into a vegetable soup for the kids.
And they don't even realize.
And they don't even realize, and then it blends in, and then I'm going to add the tamari to this.
Now, what is tamari?
Tamari is a wheat-free soy sauce.
Okay.
So if you're having digestive disorders or you have gluten intolerances or whatever, you can buy this, and you just add it. And I usually, it's about this is a large pot, so it would come to about 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
Now, how's the sodium on that? Because that's the one thing, when you usually are using like a soy sauce, something like that, sometimes the sodium is way up there.
Well, that's where you'll balance it out. You
Okay.
don't want this to be salty.
Okay.
You don't want it to be rich, but I have a large pot of water, so that was about 2 tablespoons.
So not much.
How many servings in this, Me?
This would be about 6 servings. Because
Okay.
the other thing about miso is you can drink just a little cup of it in the morning to get the benefits of it.
Really?
So you don't need a full bowl of it. We're making like a full soup,
Right.
which I would then serve with like a sandwich or something.
Right, okay.
And then this is the miso. Now the trick to miso is that it has live cultures in it, again with the probiotic.
Oh.
And now we hear a lot about probiotics in yogurts and things, but there's a lot of sugar added in those yogurt drinks.
Right.
There's no sugar. We're not putting any sugar in our body. And the
okay.
sugar lowers our immune system. So we're trying to support our immune system.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So what you do with this is, the trick is you can make this soup, and you can say, okay, I'm going to make this soup for 2 days for myself. So then I'm going to cook it up, and then I'm going to serve it for one person. And I'm only going to take this much miso, and I'm going to put it in my bowl.
Oh, so
About
you
a
don't
half a-
actually add that to
You
the
could.
soup.
Half a tablespoon.
Now, if we were, that's about a half a tablespoon. Now, if we were going to serve this at a lunch or for dinner,
Right.
I would put, probably about 4 tablespoons of this
Into the
miso
pot.
into the pot.
Okay.
You never, ever boil the miso,
Oh,
because that
really?
kills the live cultures.
That makes
Okay.
sense. So then you just put that on
Then
top.
I'm just going to take the broth like this, and I'm going to pour it on top, and I'm going to work it in.
Okay.
Stir it around a little bit.
And then I'll have individual cups of miso. And if you're fighting illness, 2 cups of miso a day is known. And the really interesting thing that got me hooked and inspired is that after World War II in Japan, the Japanese really believed that they healed their people from the radiation by eating miso.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
PrincessKnowItAll.com is where you can find more information.
This is good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming in.
we'll let this simmer a little bit.
Yeah, let it go.